one of the things I think is long overdue as Dion Talk, as Matt the Lumberjack Landlord, and One Rental at a Time grow. Sometimes we need to step back and welcome all the new members, new subscribers, new viewers, and we should probably do a hey, who are we session. So what we're going to do in this quick short video is we're going to ask each of us to talk about who we are, and then we're going to talk about why we became the three amigos. Dion, this was your idea. I want to thank you for doing that. Why don't you start this discussion? Who is Dion? Who is Dion Talk? And why do you have your YouTube channel?
How are you going to do it with no notes?
Can we mute Matt's mic during my part of the debate? So
the only chance you got, bro.
I think one of the reasons why we wanted to do this video is, yes, there's some people who've been watching and that are in our community and they know our stories as well as we do, and they know why we say it, because you never know when a new person on YouTube sees your video for the first time. And then sometimes somebody comes and they watch for a week or two and they get that you know what you're talking about. They get that you're free, that you're retired, but they don't know you. And so they get little pieces as they go. So this is a video to kind of cover. I think the best thing to start with is the sports analogy. And the idea is that there's a stadium. I'm in the parking lot. I have the tailgaters and the drunk people that don't think it's possible and that just want to complain about everything. And it's my job in my mind to convince people that it's possible to reach financial freedom. You might retire, you might just make work optional and be able to go do a job you can do without worrying about the income. And so I don't say, here's how you do it. Here's the strategies. I just say it's possible. I'm an average person. I started at 40. Like I made it to 40 without really ever having $1,000 in the bank. Found out about a bunch of bad debt I didn't know about till the divorce. Single parent with 3 kids, got laid off from law enforcement, started a really low paying job. In a decade, able to make work optional, retired. It took 12 years. At 52, I retired and I'll never work again in my life because I'm lazy. And that's what I see myself doing. And then there's you, Zuber, in the stadium, and then Matt on the gridiron. And that brings us into, you got all your millionaires together saying, here's all the routes to get onto the field. And then Matt has his strategy of a massive portfolio, self-managed, doing the rehabs and managing the teams and everything. And so if somebody's new to the channel, I think it's best to know that if you want like super high detailed, if I have a rental, what's the best updates to do to get the best increase, we've got Matt, right? If you want to go, can you do this working full time on one income with bad debt, with kids, and not really being an entrepreneur? I'm not an entrepreneur. Then that's what I'm here for.
Yeah. Love that. Love that. We'll get to in more details because I think there's more to that story, but we'll go to Matt next. What's your story, Matt? Why are you here and what makes your YouTube channel unique?
I mean, I'm a 9th grade dropout, so everyone in every room is more educated than I am. And that's fine. I decided that I like being an entrepreneur. I like doing what I wanted to do, kind of when I wanted to do it. And so I found, I kind of identified it with all the talk we've been doing about entrepreneurship. I kind of identified that the reason that my job worked out so well was because I had owners. I didn't have bosses. So I just ran their company and they got a check. And so I was like, hey, this is kind of like entrepreneurship with less risk. But yeah, I mean, I think, so many people focus on only the this of buying. And I think, while that's really, really, really important, it's different from the this of managing that asset for as long as you own it. And so, my job in my business was to make sure I was getting far better returns than all of my competition in the space while still offering market affordable housing. And the powerful thing about that is once they buy with your message and methodology, now you have to manage with a different methodology to really manage that entire portfolio and just do another deal exactly the same way you did a first one, almost like they're doing it one rental at a time. And then just bringing it through the process of, okay, I've got an acquisition done, but now I need to stabilize and optimize the asset. And that's a process. And when you do that, and you do that over those 4 or 5 units over a period of, 10 years, you'll be surprised that in a lot of cases, that's going to be more money than you're bringing home from your real job.
Yeah. So let me say something about these two guys before I kind of get into my story, going in order. Dion has the hardest job, right? I think his sports analogy of the parking lot to stadium to on the field is extremely accurate. And I occasionally get dragged out into the parking lot because of some comment or some nonsense. And I can't wait to get back in the stadium. I can't stand being around people who are already defeated, who are already saying, "Oh, is me, it can't be done, blah, blah, blah." I'm lucky enough to have a channel now with 14 or 15,000 videos with hundreds of different stories of people starting from nothing. So I know it's possible. Um, I know it takes work. I know it's not easy, but damn, Dion, I don't know. I don't know how you can stay in the parking lot so long. You've been there for years. It's just,
Show them the
let me
glass.
be, yeah, I would not want your job. I just would not want your job. The second thing I'll say, it's alcohol. Yeah, exactly. The second thing I will say about Dion is the reason this clicks is, in my opinion, Dion's a natural born teacher.
Yeah,
He has the
sure.
ability to appreciate the student and the subject and the messenger, like almost nobody I've seen in my career. Right, I was in charge of education and enablement. It's a gift, and we're lucky to have him here. Then there's Matt. He likes to play this ninth grade dropout card. He might be the smartest person I know.
No.
Oh, and he works really hard, and he's
That's fair.
got armor. One of the things you will know about the lumberjack is he is fiercely loyal. Fiercely loyal.
Yes.
He has gone to battles in wars with people throwing stones at Dion or I or Millennium Mike or someone, like little stones that wouldn't hurt us. But he takes it as such a great offense that he jumps in the battle without even being asked. So
Yeah.
fiercely loyal.
It usually ends up being an apology text that I have to send you saying, I know you didn't say to do anything, but I felt like something.
But I've already done it.
Yeah. Yeah. P.S. You might get some angry stuff on your channel, but that was me. Sorry about that.
No. And again, to Dion's analogy, Matt is on the field. He is hands-on, product reviews, recommendations. You know, now he's doing cabinets, and just I could not have better bookends for one rental at a time. Now, what is my story? Again, my story is hopefully rather simple. I wrote a book about it. W-2 employee who lost nearly everything in the stock crash, figured out he just wanted a better future, didn't think about financial freedom or, you know, retiring earlier, just wanted a better retirement. At 65, I wanted to have a better retirement than most. I wanted, you know, I wore it as a badge of honor that, you know, I would work till, you know, 65 when all this started. My father, one of the things I remember about him is he said he's going to die at work. And at the time, you would think I would have thought that was crazy. Like, why would you want to do that? There's so much more to life. But for whatever reason, I was ingrained to be an employee. I'm nothing about being an entrepreneur is any interest to me. It gives me hives. So why one rental at a time? Frankly, I didn't want to go back to work, right? I was financially free at 45. I quit at a moment's notice, had a bad day, and I didn't have anything to do. So, you know, if you're ever going to get to that moment, please have a plan. Because if you don't have a plan, it gets pretty ugly pretty fast. And frankly, one rental at a time, you know, either saved my life or saved me from going back to work, one way or the other, because I was getting depressed. So what I try to do in this scenario is say, okay, you're committed. Let's see how committed you are. Because I ask for focus, AKA buy box. I ask for daily discipline. You know, I don't promise deals. I just promise work. I think real estate investing is a skill. Because it's a skill, I can show you how to get better at it. And that's kind of why we gel. And the other thing you will see if you go back and watch our now thousands of videos together is we don't always agree. We see the world different, but we respect each other's opinions. So that's kind of how I see myself kind of connection with these three guys. We'll go back to Dion, see if he wants to add anything. Dion?
Well, I think one of the most important things is that we don't agree.
Yeah.
Right. There was a comment recently about if two people agree, one of them is not needed. Right. So there's many things we do agree on, but there are things that we don't. And an example is this week, either Thursday or Friday, we haven't narrowed it down yet. Matt and I are doing a video on politics, religion, and relationships.
Wow.
I don't know that we agree on much of any of those three things.
Nope.
And our channels aren't about that information. This is a one-off, right? But it's to point out that you can have divergent opinions, different goals, and something from each person can help your journey, the person watching, right? You're hopefully not as lazy as I am, but lazy can be a powerful motivation to find the easier, faster, more statistically possible to happen way to do something. And then if you want the details, Matt will provide that, right? There's something from each of us to put together. And I think that's the important part here is in this community, I don't say, if I was going to invest out of state, here's how I would do it. I say, if you want to invest out of state, here's Millennial Mike.
Yeah.
And if I say, if you want to put in your kitchen cabinets and you want to know what finishing things you're going to get the best rent, save you the most amount of money and get done the easiest, here's Matt. Like, suggest the person for the subject. And I don't think that we stress that enough. That, because I think when somebody's starting out, they go, I think Zuber knows everything. I'm going to be the next Zuber. And even you, Mike, you know, you stay in your lane. I stay in my lane. These are the things I do. These things do. But when I have something like I want to go use my first DSCR loan, and I have to do that grown up, what do they call it? Not a profit and loss, the
PFS, personal financial statement.
See, you even knew the acronym. I know. I'll call one of you guys.
Yeah.
I don't know this stuff. And that's what I'm hoping the people watching will understand, is that as a group, we do have almost all the bases covered.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be any one person. You take something from each of us.
Yeah, I think real estate investing, I guess Pace Morby kind of highlighted. I think he said there's 28 different avatars or ways to do this thing. It doesn't matter what the number is. The three of us have done basically 3 different ways. There's lots of ways to do it.
Sure.
And we just try to highlight what worked for us, and we point at other people that we've attracted for other things. Like, for example, we had Brandon on my show the other day, and he talked about Burr 2.0, and it's build, rent, refi, repeat. How about that? So again, he could build for 20% under market, thus creating value and making that refi even easier. So I love all of that. Matt, anything that caught your attention?
I mean, I think just in general, you know, Dion spends, you know, if I've got $300,000 in debt and I want to reduce it to 89 and then find the fast way to pay, Dion's that guy. And more importantly, people need to get their money right before they even consider talking about real estate. And I'm going to be a massive investor right after I pay off my $147,000 in school debt or credit card debt or whatever debt. And so I think that Dion's fantastic at that. You know, we all buy real estate. We've all bought it different ways. And I think that that's important too, because, you know, people, if you only want to do the MLS, like Dion's your guy. If you want to find a way to create more deal flow, Zub, you and I have done every type of deal there possibly is. We've bought from banks, we bought from cities, we bought from tax liens, we bought from seller financing and off market and on market and bundles and packages and portfolios, and we've bought it all.
Auctions.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, auctions, online auctions,
Online
in-person
auctions.
auctions.
Yep.
We've bought every way that there is. And so when somebody, you know, wants to know more about that, hey, how did you exactly do it? That's what we're a good fit for. So I think that we all are functional at running our businesses and how we want to run them. This is where we right size. And one of the things that we've talked the most about is just right sizing. You know, like Coach Carson talks about the mighty and powerful small, and, you know, mighty and powerful investor, you know, that's small. You can do it that way and get there that way. I think a lot of people want to do property number 20 before they've done property number 2.
Yeah.
And just get the sequencing right, get the path right, get that stuff down, and then adding more deals is not hard.
No, couldn't agree more. Yeah, the last thing I'll kind of close with, the three of us, myself, you know, certainly a part of this, is we just on a bigger mission. You know, I finally gotten comfortable with something my mother told me 5 years ago. Shout out Dorothy in the comments. She told me 5 years ago, Michael, you're growing the middle class, which at the time I repulsed from. I'm like, don't put that on me. I don't want that. That's crazy. What are you thinking? I finally gotten comfortable with that over the last 30 or 45 days. I think all of us are working to grow the middle class. You grow the middle class by owning assets. Inflation's a feature, not a bug. The people that won the last 5 years own assets. It's been crystal clear forever. But if you've been not paying attention the last 4 or 5 years, asset owners won. And that's what we're trying to do. We're just trying to show you there's lots of ways to get assets. And again, as my channel says, it doesn't have to be real estate. I bring on a guy that does small businesses on Wednesdays. I bring on 2 different stock guys. I don't care what your thing is, but find a way to get your money right, create discretionary income, and go buy yourself some assets. If you do that for a decade, your chances of getting wealthy are high. If you don't, if you live for the moment, you keeping up the Joneses, your chances of being broke and miserable are high.
Mhm.
So I am trying to grow the middle class. I just want people to know it's possible, and that's why we talk every Wednesday. That's why all three of us have our own channels. That's why we've clicked. That's why we've done thousands of videos together. That's why we have communities, and it's why we keep showing up. The last thing I'll say about us is none of us have egos, and we very rarely record kind of ego-based content. And I think that's a great thing because it's not about us; it's about the audience. Dion, where can they find you?
You can find me right here on YouTube, Dion Talk Financial Freedom, where I do live streams every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Pacific, where I answer all of the questions that come in, even the ones that I can tell somebody's trying to insult me with.
I told you I was sorry.
See,
He's got a burner account. Matt, where can they find you?
Lumberjack Landlord on YouTube and Instagram. 9 o'clock Thursday nights is when we do ours. We like to be up for the East Coasters late and for the West Coasters so they can kind of get home and get settled. But yeah, also on Instagram, we're doing kind of a couple times a week. I'm updating something there that we're doing that I think is pertinent to the market today. Cause I think that we try and do a lot of what's called evergreen content where we're sharing journeys and stories with people and kind of how-to stuff. But I think it's also important we have a good mix of adding things to our channel that are current events. Hey, here's how you navigate and manage today.
Yeah, love that. Guys, you're amazing. Thank you for being a part of One Rental at a Time. You are the community leaders. You make it better. Wouldn't be here without you. So from me to you, thank you so much.
Thanks, Mike.
Mhm.